Welcome back. Now, a couple of months ago, we test drove the Renault Fluence. The version we drove was the diesel, and we complained that it was seriously lacking in kit. Well, not so fast, says Kailash Menon, as he takes the fully loaded petrol Fluence out for a spin.
Now, you want to buy yourself a full-size saloon and you got somewhere around 15 lakh rupees to spend. Now, for that kind of money, you could buy yourself a Civic, a Corolla, a Cruze, or a Laura. But the trouble is, these cars have been around for a while. What if you crave something new and different, something that makes you stand out of the crowd? Well, fret not, because the French are here to help.
Yup, Renault has ended its bad marriage with Mahindra and now it's flying solo with the Fluence. The weird name aside, what you get is a curvy, quirky, contemporary car with tons of space.
Now, what I like the most about the design is the way the waistline soars up all the way to the C-pillar. The body cladding on the doors is also quite unique and a distinct feature, but the best bit, however, is the Kim Kardashian-like bulbous backside that the Renault Fluence has, and there's no doubt about the fact that this car looks the best when viewed from the rear.
Engine options include a bare-bones diesel and a plush petrol variant too.
Now, what I'm driving today is a full cream top-of-the-line petrol that comes with all the bells and whistles. Now, to be quite honest with you, when you compare it to the diesel Fluence, that one is just bare bones. This is very well kitted out. And under the hood is a 2-litre petrol engine that puts out 136 bhp and 190 Newton meters of torque. And putting all that torque down to the wheels is a CVT gearbox. Now, there's no discounting the fact that the petrol engine is very refined and the drive is super smooth. But will you have fun on the run? I would have to say no, because even when you bury the throttle down to the mat, the car feels a bit lazy and a bit hesitant. It's not exactly the sort of performance that you'd expect out of a 2-litre 136 bhp machine. However, if you do want to be a little faster than the automatic mode, you could shift it onto the manual and have fun.
The Fluence is more of a cruiser than a screamer. It's most fluid at city speeds. The auto box is seamless and the lighter steering makes it for fatigue-free motoring. It's pretty confident on the highway runs too, but the high-speed handling is not its forte.
The Fluence has got a ground clearance of 170 mm. That means it's not exactly low slung. It rides high, plus it's sprung on the softer side. So if you scoot off too fast, there is a bit of a suspension squat. If you brake too hard, the nose dives in. And whatever you do, never corner this car too hard, because there's a good chance it could turn turtle and you could land up on the roof. Bottom line, it's not a sharp handling car, but the softer suspensions makes the ride supple and smooth.
And you get a taste of that cushy ride only when you swap seats.
Now, if you can buy and run a 15 lakh rupee car, I'm sure you'll be driven around and being seen behind the wheel. Now, it's only once you sit on the back bench you get to feel how comfortable the Fluence really is, and this is exactly where the softer suspension setup excels. I mean, it just soaks up all the bumps and the ride is bloody supple. So you could sit here, skim through the morning newspapers while the Fluence tides over, spine-smashing potholes with the least amount of drama.
No theatrics on the inside either. You get black and beige combo, soft touch dash, brushed aluminium, and some cheap bits like the start and stop button, which to be honest, feels pretty flimsy.
Now, the biggest flaw, however, is that ergonomically things are a bit strange on the inside. For example, let's start with the steering mounted controls. Now, in a normal car, you'll find your radio and your phone controls on the wheel, but here on the Fluence, you have it on this black bar, which, to be quite honest with you, is quite cumbersome to use while you're on the move. That's not it. You got the cruise control near the handbrake. You have the start-stop button towards the extreme left, which is a bit of a stretch when you have to crank up the car, and the bonnet release is on the passenger footwell. Now, I'm guessing the folks at Renault, they got really lazy. What they did is, they took a left-hand drive Fluence, they plugged out the steering, shoved it onto the right side, and left the buttons where they were.
Making up for eccentric ergonomics is the feature list. Thankfully, the petrol is not as basic as the diesel. It gets goodies like 4 airbags, ABS, cruise control, Bluetooth and USB 2. The Fluence could be all yours for 14,40,000 rupees. The question is, should you buy one?
So at 14,40,000, you get a fair amount of features and oodles of French flair. But let's just factor in the price to package deal. You get a car that's spacious, has got a smart and exclusive design, an excellent petrol engine and drives fairly well. However, there are a few niggles like the scanty dealership network and the eccentric ergonomics. But if you can forgive these niggles, the Renault Fluence might just be the perfect car your money can buy to stand out of the crowd.